Good morning. We bring you with overnight news out of Appleton. One person is dead in an officer-involved shooting at a bar. Good morning. I'm Aisha Morales. Jenny Curtis will have your forecast here in just a moment. But first, we want to bring you up to speed on what happened in Appleton. The shooting happened last night at a bar called Jack's Apple Pub. It's on College Avenue, just east of Richmond Street. Appleton police say 2 officers were on a normal foot patrol around 1:40 this morning when someone came up to them and said shots were being fired inside the bar.
That's what drew their attention to the pub, and at that point they did see that patrons were exiting the building, and at that point they started to enter the building to try to determine what was going on.
Officers say they were shot at and returned fire, killing the suspect. 2 other people were taken to the hospital and are expected to be okay. Appleton police are still investigating the shooting, and the Green Bay Police Department will investigate the officers involved, which is standard procedure. This is a developing story, so stay with Action 2 News as we work to bring you the latest.
Sierra Gillespie breaks down what happened inside Apple Pub this morning.
1:38 a.m., 2 Appleton police officers patrolling College Avenue received word of shots fired.
The officers were on the sidewalk in the area of the Apple Pub when people started running out the front door of the business, yelling to them that there was a man inside with a gun shooting people.
Minutes later, officers are on scene at the Apple Pub on the corner of West College Avenue and State Street.
They started to enter the building to try to determine what was going on. That's when the shooting occurred on our end.
That's when Lieutenant Jay Steinke went in through the bar's side door.
At this point, the lieutenant entered the bar, running towards the gunfire as he's been trained to do, to protect the patrons in the bar, and encountered the male with a gun. We immediately secured the scene.
Lieutenant Steinke shot the suspect, who eventually died at the hospital. 2 other bargoers were also injured.
It appears one of the males suffered a gunshot wound to his arm, and the other male suffered a shoulder injury, but was not struck by the gunfire.
Police say this all started after a disagreement in the bar between 2 men.
One of the males pulled out a gun and fired at least 1 round at the other male. We then wrestled with him over the gun while the crowd fled out the bar.
While clearing the scene, responding officers recovered a gun and spoke with witnesses.
Investigators will try and locate additional witnesses, process the evidence that's been recovered, and review any security and body cam video.
From here, the Green Bay Police Department will continue the investigation along with the Outagamie County District Attorney. Reporting in Appleton, Sierra Gillespie, Action 2 News.
In our continuing coverage, Sierra Gillespie takes us to College Avenue, where things are back to business as usual.
We were shooting pool, having a good time. Me and my friends, I was with my friend Peter. We were having a good time. The bar wasn't even that full.
But just before 2 o'clock Sunday morning, shots rang out.
There was a bunch of cops outside, with flashing lights, and they came with their guns and shields and stuff like that.
These shards of glass and this boarded up door behind me, the only evidence that something happened early Sunday morning. Those we spoke to say this shooting won't stop them from coming downtown on College Avenue.
This is a safe place. People should not, be in fear of coming down and having a good time here at the Apple Pub.
Many feel safe because frequent officers patrolling on the avenue, like Lieutenant Steinke.
I've had interactions with him. He's great. So, I know the police on around that time that they got it. They got to have their A game on.
But others working nearby that night say the shooting shook them and are now taking precautions.
Makes me kind of nervous as far as working Friday and Saturday nights, but we hired a security guard / bouncers.
Reporting in Appleton, Sierra Gillespie, Action 2 News.
Police say 33-year-old Jimmy Montel Sanders had been staying with friends in Appleton, but his last known address was in Milwaukee. Police were called just after 1:30 Sunday morning to a report of a shooting at Jack's Apple Pub on College Avenue. Police say as people were coming out of the bar, Lieutenant Jay Steinke went in and found Sanders with a gun. Steinke shot Sanders, who died at a hospital. Green Bay police are investigating the shooting, and Lieutenant Steinke has been placed on administrative leave, which is routine.
Bill, Henry Nelm wasn't charged with Jimmy Sanders' death, but he is facing an attempted homicide charge for firing a gun at a different man in the bar. That shot sent patrons running out of the bar and police running in. Now, according to the criminal complaint, a video inside the bar caught Henry Nelm getting into an argument with another man. Nelm is seen pulling out a gun, racking it before a shot is fired. We know that shot sent people scrambling out of the bar. 2 Appleton police police officers on foot patrol heard the shot and ran into Jack's Apple Pub, one officer firing shots in the bar after seeing a man with a gun. Those shots killed Jimmy Sanders. Members of Sanders' family met with the district attorney following the hearing, hoping to learn more about why he was shot. But as the district attorney told them, Sanders' death in the officer-involved shooting is still being investigated. Carrie Schneider said the Green Bay Police Department is working as fast as it can to complete its investigation. It's an investigation Sanders' family understands needs to take place, but they still want answers.
Obviously, we're still going through and trying to process the rest of this as quickly as we can, but we want to be thorough as we can. We're working with some other agencies that are outside of my control and Green Bay Police Department's control in terms of trying to have things expedited in this as best as we can to get full and complete answers for everybody.
They want to know what happened to their loved one because there's a lot of conflicting stories, and they just want to know exactly what took place. That's why we're here today, to see what was going on in this court proceeding and then try to pile the truth, trying to get little nuggets of the truth.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. This is video of a new camera being installed just outside a downtown Appleton bar where an officer-involved shooting happened this past weekend.
A couple of you called and asked us that you were connected, or was it purely coincidence? Jason Zimmerman asked questions and found out.
This is cell phone video sent to us by a viewer, and because it is right outside of the bar where last weekend's officer-involved shooting took place, the person sending had questions about the timing. So we checked with both police and the city's communications coordinator. While police did not want to go on camera, Captain Todd Freeman says they are not connected, saying, quote, "It is just another camera in our growing citywide network of traffic cameras. This location has been on our to-do list for some time." Freeman added, "We realize the timing is coincidental, but it is not a response to last weekend's incident." We also checked with City Communication Coordinator Chad Doran, who told us, quote, "Including the one installed today, we have 14 cameras that are capable of monitoring College Avenue between Richmond and Drew. That is a mix of fixed and movable view cameras," end quote. In the past, we've done stories about street cameras in downtown Appleton that have been used to assist police. This one caught a hit-and-run driver as they hit a pedestrian in a crosswalk by Lawrence University in 2013. And more recently, another camera caught a deer hitting an SUV, bouncing off it and then running away. Police also point out that the addition of cameras continues to be an ongoing project. Reporting in the Fox Valley Newsroom, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.
Sierra Gillespie brings us today's protest and explains why Sanders' family is calling for a change.
6 days after the death of Jimmy Sanders, family and friends are still in disbelief.
It doesn't matter what color you are. If somebody can just run in and just get to shooting, that's supposed to be in a space to where they are a professional, and an innocent life is taken, we should be concerned.
Dozens gathered this weekend in hopes that their peaceful protests would lead to change.
No justice! No peace! No racist police!
They have a right to pose these questions. Was he, what happened to the victim in this case? Did he deserve to get shot? Should the police department have said, put a weapon down if that was the case? There's a lot of missing facts.
Now, Sanders supporters are asking for answers and that police body camera footage be released.
What was the reasoning for the immediate burst in with the shooting? That's all. We're not trying to accuse anyone. We're just trying to make sure that we get the facts straight. And we want to understand what was Jimmy's part in it.
Sanders supporters believe he was unarmed last weekend at the Apple Pub when Lieutenant Steinke shot him. Police say Sanders was armed. We reached out to the Appleton Police Department today. They did not comment on the ongoing investigation. But last week, Appleton's police chief told us Lieutenant Steinke followed his training and did everything right.
It appears that Lieutenant Steinke encountered an active shooter situation and used his firearm to stop a threat in an extremely dynamic and chaotic situation. This is a tragic incident that all of us wish never occurred.
From here, the Green Bay Police Department has taken over the investigation. Reporting in Appleton, Sierra Gillespie, Action 2 News.
Sarah, as with any officer-involved shooting, the Appleton Police Department asks an outside agency, in this case the Green Bay Police Department, to investigate the incident. Green Bay Police interviewed more than 40 people. They reviewed surveillance camera footage from inside the bar, and they analyzed the scene. And while the district attorney says this whole situation is very tragic, Lieutenant Steinke was doing what he was trained to do, despite an innocent man being killed.
Lieutenant Jay Steinke, a 29-year veteran with the Appleton Police Department, won't face any charges in the shooting death of Jimmy Sanders at Jack's Apple Pub. According to the investigation, surveillance video from inside the bar shows Sanders was next to Henry Nellum, the armed man, when he was hit by one of 4 bullets fired by Lieutenant Steinke. Steinke was the first officer in the bar following reports of a man with a gun inside. The district attorney said the officer did what he was trained to do, eliminate the threat.
As Lieutenant Steinke was firing at Nellum, Nellum was struck by 1 shot. But as he was firing, Lieutenant Steinke was pushed by parties who were exiting the bar.
The district attorney and the Appleton police chief called Sanders' death a tragedy as he was an innocent bystander. But as the investigation into the incident showed, and as a homicide charge has now been filed against Henry Nellum, he is the one responsible for Jimmy Sanders' death.
But this incident occurred because of the actions of one man, a convicted felon who was illegally carrying a handgun in a bar, who got intoxicated and decided to get into a fight, who pulled out his gun and shot around at someone, and then ran at towards a door with a gun in his hand. This man caused this tragic incident, not Mr. Sanders and not Lieutenant Steinke.
And Lieutenant Steinke remains on administrative assignment. The police chief tells me that the department will work with the veteran on his return. Reporting live in the Fox Valley newsroom, Emily Matesic, Action 2 News.
Continuing tonight's top story, Andrea Hayes spoke with the victim's sisters about what they believe went wrong in this investigation.
Shot this man.
Jimmy Sanders' family and their privately hired investigators say Officer Steinke was negligent when he shot and killed Sanders, who did not have a gun.
The way that they're handling this here is like, let's cover this up. Okay? You didn't see, how many people watch cop shows? Raise your hands. Let me see your hands. Drop the gun.
No
All
warning.
it was here is bullets.
He didn't have a warning. He didn't have a warning. He didn't have a gun.
Storm does not believe the district attorney, who says Sanders was shot while standing near Henry Nellum, the man who did bring a gun into the bar.
And then she says, oh, he was shooting at Henry Nellum. Then why did he shoot Jimmy Sanders in the face?
This whole situation is crazy, and at the end of the day, I'm not trying to hear wrong place at wrong time. He was wrongfully shot, and he's gone. And the person who took him is not being held accountable, and we will not let this get swept under the rug. It's not happening.
You put this man on a paid vacation. He's probably fishing while a family is mourning. Do you understand that? I don't care about his bass. I care about justice. Okay?
Counsel for the victim's family says this is far from the end of the story. They want this reinvestigated by the state and taken to federal court. Reporting in Appleton, Andrea Hay, Action 2 News.
Action 2 News has learned the city of Appleton is monitoring the bar where an incident with a gun led to a deadly shooting involving a police officer.
We've learned Jack's Apple Pub is not under immediate risk of losing its license despite other problems there in the past.
Yes, Sarah and Jeff, it's business as usual at Jack's Apple Pub following that May 21st shooting. And according to Appleton City Attorney, the bar doesn't appear to be losing its ability to operate in the city anytime soon, if at all. It was back in March of this year when the Appleton City Council approved an agreement between the city and the owner of Jack's Apple Pub to suspend demerit points the bar was given after it was cited for serving alcohol to underage customers. The agreement enabled the city to track the way the bar did business without suspending its liquor license, since Jack's Apple Pub had never been cited before. It's a routine procedure the city has taken with other bars over the years.
If there are certain violations of the ordinance, we monitor those establishments for a year. If there are no further violations, there's no further penalty. If there are, then we'll take a look at the terms of the stipulation in place.
According to the city attorney, it's too early to tell if the shooting incident which led to the death of Jimmy Montel Sanders is a violation of that agreement.
I don't know exactly how what the investigation shows would play into a licensing sanction.
An attorney representing Jack's Apple Pub goes further, pointing out the underage drinking violations are in no way connected to the shooting, and it's not grounds to suspend the bar's liquor license.
It's an unrelated incident and has nothing to do with it. It's an unrelated incident, and it could have happened at any establishment on College Avenue.
And the bar's attorney told me that the city has not reached out to the bar's owner about any additional sanctions because of the shooting, and because of that, the bar plans to remain open. Reporting live in Appleton, Emily Matesic, Action 2 News.